If you grew up with a Super Nintendo Entertainment System, or a Nintendo 64, you would undoubtedly regard some of Rare's games as the best ever. Rare Replay brings 30 of one of the most prolific game studios' best hits and classic titles onto one disc, and although not all the games are worth playing, the game still acts as a fascinating time capsule filled with hours of gameplay and interesting videos, concept art, and music never seen before. Rare have been making games as far back as 1986, and since then have gained quite a following for their quality and uniqueness. The collection features games from multiple platforms like the ZX Spectrum, and even Nintendo consoles, which is something you wouldn't expect from an Xbox One exclusive title. But when Rare was bought out from Microsoft in 2002, they were able to keep some of their key franchises, allowing them to include games like Banjo-Kazooie and Perfect Dark. Although you won't find fan favourites such as GoldenEye or Donkey Kong Country for licensing reasons, most of the games they have included show how diverse the company is. The only downside is that Rare Replay features franchises like Jetpack and Banjo-Kazooie with 3 separate titles each, and I would have preferred that they use the space on the disc to include different titles. The emulation of each game doesn't skip a beat, with games playing seamlessly on the Xbox One. Many of the games that were previously available on the Xbox 360 utilise the currently unreleased backwards compatibility feature announced at E3. Oddly though, these games use the Rare Replay disc as a launcher into these games as separate applications, which means you'll have 9 or 10 extra titles cluttering up your games list. The older games in the collection will allow the use of save states to save and load your game at any time, and a rewind feature that is great for games that came from an era that didn't have autosaves, or use their extreme difficulty or vague explanations of mechanics as a way to pad out game length. As well as the in-game goals of collecting every item and getting the high score, each game has a set of milestones for you to achieve. They usually consist of some simple milestones like playing the game for the first time, and range to collecting all the in-game challenges, experiencing everything the game has to offer, or racking up millions of points over time. Each completed milestone adds a stamp to a ticket, acting like a collection-wide leveling system. At each level you unlock some form of content in Rare Revealed, a section dedicated to never-before-seen videos about the development of their games, unreleased projects, concept art, and unused soundtracks. The content gives you an intriguing view into the history of the company, and will be enjoyed by anyone with an interest in game development at Rare, and game development history in general. Unfortunately, it'll take a long time and dedication to unlock these, as once you've completed all the easy milestones, you'll need to grind out the more lengthy ones to unlock all the content. This won't be a problem for the games you like, but I personally dread having to complete Attic Attack 3 times over. On top of this, you can also acquire stamps from completing snapshots. Snapshots give you a very specific goal to complete in a set period of time in your chosen game. You may be required to earn a certain amount of points in a minute, or just survive as long as possible. It's very reminiscent of NES Remix for the Wii U, as it gives you very quick-fire challenges that you can repeat over and over, and definitely adds to the replayability and competitiveness of each game via the online leaderboards. Although expected, it's a shame that the snapshot feature and the ability to use save states and rewind are only available on titles released before the Nintendo 64, as they could add extra life to the games you've already played over and over. Rare Replay has packed a lot of history onto one disc, and although not all the games are gems, the features they've added and the content that they've included makes it a must-have for any Rare enthusiast. If you aren't familiar with Rare, you might enjoy learning about one of the most beloved developers in video games.
What does that mean?
It means context sensitive. It's sensitive to context. Try over there.
Okay.